Hello, everybody. We are live. We are live. How's it going? How's it going? I hope you guys have had a great start to your week and to your month. It's the beginning of a month. This is always a good time to regroup, refresh, recharge, refocus yourself, all the re's, right? Re everything at the beginning of the month. So I am glad to be on here with you guys. And also, May just so happens to be, surprise, surprise, mental health month, mental health awareness month. All right, so no surprise there that this group not only focuses on staying active, moving more, taking care of your body, but also taking care of your heart and your mind and your mental health overall. So what a perfect time to talk about some mental health topics. And so I want to kick off this month with the Maintaining Your Mental conversation series. So every Tuesday I'll be coming on and we'll be talking about some ways that you can keep your mental health in a good space. I think that sometimes in our culture and society, mental health, it can still be a little bit taboo. I think in the last 2-3 years, especially since the pandemic, things have become a little bit more on the forefront as far as how important the condition of your mental health is. I mean, let's think about what our mental health has been through since 2 years ago, right? We can just stop and have a moment of silence for that. But I think it's really given an opportunity to talk about mental health, not only in situations where there's an illness present or a diagnosis present, but also in just the general upkeep of that aspect of your well-being. Just like your physical health, just like your relationships, just like your financial well-being, your mental health is one of those components. So raise your hand if you have mental health. Let's all raise our hands, right? So nobody is unusual or whatever to say that, hey, my mental health needs a tune-up. And I wanted to talk about maintaining, because sometimes we can have a good moment of feeling balanced and feeling at peace and having some things, going in our favor as far as how we feel and how we look at life. But it can very quickly change based on life happenings, different things that come up in our lives. And so it's a maintenance piece, just like everything else that I preach to you guys about staying well. Your mental health is a maintenance thing. So here we are in part one of the Maintain Your Mental conversation series. All right. And of course, it's no surprise, we're going to get into a lot of different aspects of maintaining your mental health. But naturally, I got to start with staying active and moving your body. Y'all knew that was coming. Y'all knew that was coming. So we're not just in this group and on this journey to change our bodies. And that's something that I try to be I try to emphasize that as much as possible, that the message and the heart behind the things that I'm encouraging you all to do has really little to do with the size and shape and feel of your body, and more to do with your overall well-being, which includes your mental health. So I just thought we would spend today reaffirming that, regrouping on that why for what we're trying to do, because it can be easily distracted into other reasons that really aren't going to sustain for long. Most people who have a fitness goal for a certain milestone in their life, a birthday, a wedding, the holidays, whatever, a trip, you know what I mean? Those are very time-bound goals, and your why has to go deeper. And mental health can often be the source of that deeper why, that intrinsic motivation that we talked about. And so let's dive into how your mental health can be improved by movement. Now, I'm going to hopefully do some myths type of stuff, like debunking a few myths and that sort of thing as we go through this. But first and foremost, mental health can help improve your symptoms of depression and anxiety. This is across a spectrum, all right? So everyone has a different severity of symptoms when it comes to depression and anxiety. And so we can't put all of our eggs in the movement and exercise basket and think that that's all that we have to do. But there are studies and research that shows that moving your body and staying active has a positive impact on your depression and anxiety symptoms. So what are we talking about when we talk about symptoms? Symptoms of depression can be isolation. It can be feeling low energy. It could be, fatigue as well. It could be having a negative outlook on life, feeling hopeless about the future, having low self-esteem about yourself, feeling like you're not good enough. It can also include losing interest in the things that you used to do that brought you joy. Really, depression just puts a dark cloud around everything that maybe once was enjoyable and light and bright for you before. Okay, and so that's depression. Anxiety has a presentation of almost an overactivity at times. All right, so we're talking being restless, we're talking worrying a lot, we're talking being fidgety with your hands and your feet and having something in your hand and always constantly moving. And also we're talking about ruminating thoughts. So that tape that plays at night when you're trying to go to sleep and you just want to go to sleep and it won't shut off, usually that is a symptom of anxiety or at least stress that's going on in your life. And exercise can help to alleviate some of those symptoms. Well, how? Well, thank you for asking. I appreciate that. Exercise and movement, and I want to hone in on exercise in a second as that actual word, but in general, staying active and moving your body releases endorphins into your body. I know a lot of people will say, I hate exercise, it hurts, it's this, it's that. There are all kinds of ways that you can stay active, and so vigorous workouts that require an unusual amount of strength and may cause pain to your body is one of those, but there's so many other types that can be beneficial to you, and they also still release endorphins into your body. So endorphins, it's like the dopamine, the feel-good feeling that you have when you complete something, when a child is born, when you win an award, when your favorite food is finally coming out at the restaurant. You can have a dopamine release, all right? And exercise does the same thing internally for us. So even though it may seem like you hate it, there are some positive chemical impacts of moving your body more. And also, when you're moving your body, when we're talking about depression and anxiety, most of the times that gets us outside of our cocoon that we can find ourselves in, especially if depression is something that you struggle with, or anxiety actually, can kind of close in your world and narrow down who you see and where you go and the sunlight that you get. And so being active in any sort of way is going to get you out in the fresh air, in nature, in some sunlight for some vitamin D. I mean, it's all around going to benefit you both in the experience of it and in the impact, the after effects that it has. And lastly, it promotes, this is on the scientific side, I'm not a scientist or anything, biology is not my thing, but it does promote new brain activity, all right, which is beneficial in a lot of different ways. But if your brain is struggling with chemical imbalances, if you're having a hard time focusing because of anxiety or depression or anything like that, the rejuvenation or the regeneration of new brain cells is going to do nothing but benefit you moving in the right direction towards some more peace of mind in an improved mood. Okay, so improved symptoms of depression and anxiety can come about from movement. That's number one. Number two is improved self-esteem and a sense of self-efficacy about your life. All right, think about when there's been a hard feat that you've done and you accomplished it. How good did you feel at the end of that accomplishment? Probably pretty good. Usually we don't feel bad when we've accomplished something that we didn't think we could do, or just a friendly, fun goal to just see how long it takes, something of the sort. Those also have some dopamine kickbacks to them, and it can also help you to improve your sense of self-esteem around your capabilities, being dependable to yourself, following through on things that you said that you would do, and overall just be feeling more resilient. All right, sometimes some types of movement, say if we go on a hike It is a little bit, there's going to be work involved in getting from the bottom of a mountain to the top of the mountain. And so think about all the different challenges or things that you might have to troubleshoot on your way up that mountain. That's kind of metaphorical in a lot of different ways, but up the mountain, there might be other things that you have to do. If you're with someone else, there might be some team building, some partner work that you have to do. And that is building your resilience. How do I handle obstacles when they are in front of me? How do I lean in and allow myself to step outside of my comfort zone? All of which can be available to you through the form of moving your body, exercise, staying active, whatever that movement choice might be for you. Okay. Next thing we have is it reduces stress and improves your mental clarity. Now, I have long time been an advocate of, especially though for those of us that work traditional jobs, I know morning workouts can seem difficult, and even afternoon workouts can seem difficult to maintain. But I always love to not sandwich, but choose either to work out right before work in the morning or right after work. And that's for the purpose of stress relief. All right. I don't know about you, but the pandemic has also shown me that a lot of us have really stressful work lives, okay? And so that stress remains inside, that cortisol that is super high from the stresses you're under during work, those things remain. They remain and they disrupt your sleep. They make you more irritable. They make you more impatient. They make you more insecure perhaps about certain things because you're just always in this like what needs to happen next mode, and that cortisol level is just shooting through the roof. And so exercising and releasing that energy through activity can help you to recalibrate your stress levels and have a clearer mind. The clearer mind also goes back to just new brain cells being generated through the movement, but it can also just like literally help to decompress, or wake yourself up and get you focused and energized for the day ahead. And thus, if I'm ready for the day, if I'm energized for the day, I'm handling the stressors in my life in a different way. I'm not dragging on deadlines that I need to be meeting. I'm jumping on top of them. Thus, my day is less stressful. Thus, I'm less stressful overall. So I think the sneakiest one out of this is the mental clarity that you can get from exercise. So we can get past the MO of hating exercise. We could actually tap into, wow, there's some necessary benefits that are coming from this. Mental clarity, if that's all I got from moving my body, I'd literally still do it. Mental clarity does wonders. I think we could all say, as you get older, things start to get a little foggy, memory starts to slip and all that kind of stuff, but mental clarity is the GOAT. All right, the last thing that I'll mention is that exercise and movement and staying active can promote support and connection with other people. This is where I love to advocate for group fitness. That is where my heart is as a coach. I love group fitness. Any of the programs that I have, they are group oriented. Not everybody likes the same size of group necessarily, depending on my extroverts, my introverts. You may opt for a different type of group setting, but anytime you can take your activity and allow it to incorporate someone other than yourself, that's really going to help with your sense of connection. If you're struggling with mental health, again, like I said at the beginning, it can really narrow and dim your world. And so you may not talk to people as much, may not feel up to talking to people as much. You may have had to make some changes in order to improve your mental health and set some boundaries with people. And so maybe your friend group or your family relationships have changed and you're feeling a little bit more isolated. And so staying active, getting active in a activity group. It could be a sports team. You could do a sports team if that's your jam, but it could also be, I know there's groups here in the area that go on hikes. There's groups that go and do yoga together. There's groups that rollerblade and do all different sorts of things. Laser tag even could be an example. Literally anything. Think outside the box with this, but doing it in community is going to help you realize and feel that you have more support, that you have social interaction and people that care about you. And then it also brings in a level of accountability and encouragement and staying consistent. Because let's be honest, when it's us against us and we're dealing with a mental health struggle, it is very hard to talk yourself into getting up and doing the things, even when you know that those things are going to benefit you. So anytime you can have some additional support, external support and accountability, and just engagement with what you're trying to do. Think about being in community with like-minded people that are interested in the same thing that you're interested in. There's a buy-in there. You know, I remember when I was participating in group fitness, I wasn't teaching yet, I was just taking classes. Sometimes I would be on the fence about going, not for any major reason, just my mind was taking me left instead of right, okay? It wasn't anything that I was pushing myself through to go, but I was debating it, but I wanted to see someone that was in the class, you know what I mean? I wanted to see Joe. I wanted to see him. I did. It's this older guy that was in or Jim. I'm sorry, it's been a while, but yeah, Jim was in the class. That was my workout buddy, y'all. I was like, I can't leave Jim hanging. Like, Jim is waiting on me. Jim is waiting on me. I haven't seen him in a while, but he was just so cool. Older guy. I'm not sure how old, but maybe 60s, upper 60s or whatever. And here I am, young girl in my mid 20s, way back then. And that was my workout buddy every single workout. And look, I'm smiling just talking about it because it was really a beneficial connection that we had. He held me accountable to how I engaged in the workouts, not from you got to hold as much weight as me, but he kind of began to learn, and me for him, he learned my potential. He learned what I could do. I learned what he could do. And so we would sometimes challenge each other, like, come on, let's go up. Let's go a little bit harder. Let's do, and thus those benefits, we reap them even more from encouraging each other and helping each other move forward, with our progress or, whatever the case may be. It was really, really beneficial. Shout out to Jim. Jim, I know you're not in here because men aren't allowed in this group, but maybe you'll see this on YouTube one day. I would love to get a workout in with you. Carol is also another person that I had, was a workout buddy for me early on in my recovery. We would work out multiple times a week together, and it just held me accountable. It gave me someone to talk to. It gave me something different to do instead of going home and being stuck with my feelings and drinking over them after work. Completely changed the game for me. I'm always going to be an advocate for workout buddies, group fitness, group activities, things that bring you more support to carry out the individual goals that you might have. So that is it in a nutshell, y'all. I went over my time a little bit, but I just really wanted to express the heart behind why we are moving toward freedom, what that really means for each of us. And so I will be back next week with another topic around maintaining your mental health. I would love to hear from you guys under this video, what you would want to hear more about. I have some great topics lined up, but would always love to answer any questions that you might have and have some dialogue about this. So that is all for me today. I will see you guys next week. Bye.